Hey everybody, welcome to My Opening Movies. This week we're dusting off a classic Patreon-only episode under the old Patreon system, starring Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone in the sci-fi fantasy, very strange, three seashells-based movie, The Demolition Man. Thanks for doing all you do. Please enjoy this episode and share and review and do all those things that keep us on the charts. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome to Myopia Movies. I woke up to watch Demolition Man.
And it put him back to sleep again.
That's right.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Till down brings me round again to find the 90s were better than I thought at all. Oh, no, no, no.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man!
Something. Demolition Man.
Yes, well
Your
done.
improv skills are without par, Matt. I'm Nick Hoffman, host of Myopia Defend Your Childhood, Cineprov, and other things that involve me talking about my past.
Hello, this is Daniel. We're talking about Demolition Man. I'm a contributor to Pop Dose, and I listen to the Sirius XM radio station about all the 90s commercial jingles. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Viva Gorditas. It's author Matthew W. Quinn here to share his wisdom.
I'm Jeremy. I've had Taco Bell literally twice in the past 2 decades.
Yes.
Good.
Oh, but did you know they put cheese in the crust?
You know, at my brother's bachelor party, we all actually went to Taco Bell, and we were all hungover. It was 3 o'clock. We hadn't eaten, and God damn it, that was the tastiest stuff.
I haven't.
It's 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
And the regular crowd stumbles in. Hungover to hell and gone.
There's gorditas with cheese on the menu, and there's fire sauce upon of my chin.
I just remember, what was the cat?
They
and
put
dog?
queso in my jar and say, "Man, what are you doing here?"
What was the cat and dog team that were like the kids' meal mascots for Taco Bell back in the day?
Cat dog?
It wasn't cat dog. It was like this little orange cat, and they used to have a toy where you'd squeeze it and its tongue would flop out.
I don't know. I just remember the dog. They tried to make him like Shay.
Well, I mean, luckily, that's how they won the fast food wars. In
You know,
this movie.
apparently.
All right, that brings me to a question. If everything that's bad is banned, how is there Taco Bell?
Well, the thing was, Michelle Obama wasn't allowed to exist in this world.
True, yeah.
Remember when vegetables were a thing?
Yeah, the kids kept throwing them out. Starving show in Afghanistan would love those carrots, kids.
By the way, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. I mean, I don't even know how to begin. Who's the plot synopsis?
I'll take.
Mushroom Head Baldy? What do you got?
I'm gonna let Jeremy take over.
Okay, Jeremy.
God damn it, now I can't look at Daniel without thinking about Mushroom Head. That's
okay.
yeah.
You should jump on him. You get bigger.
Oh, God.
Oh my!
I love you both.
I still have not been to a barber shop since March, and that's why.
Wait, whoa. Who cut your hair? Who cuts the hair then?
Oh, me.
Ah, you
Is
beautiful
there a salad
bastard.
bowl involved?
You beautiful bastard. Jeremy, you cut your own hair?
Yes.
Of course you do. Matt?
Super cuts with appointments. With appointments and limited occupancy.
I go to Sport Clips where a footballer shaves my head.
Yes.
Ah,
Well, they got to do something with all the. Wait, football is still on.
it's okay. So, Rigel, give it to me.
So, yeah, Demolition Man. Sylvester Stallone plays Sylvester Stallone, even though he claims his name is John Spartan. Because this is a world where Arnold Schwarzenegger exists, so Stallone has to play Stallone. So,
You know, he wasn't even a citizen when he ran for president.
yeah, so he's a cop tracking down Wesley Snipes.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Who's a terrorist mastermind?
Who has
Yeah.
managed to take control of part of Los Angeles and made himself king.
Because, yeah, no one's fighting for that title, so he just took it.
He just took it.
Yeah. And yeah, so Wesley Snipes was believed to have kidnapped a bus of 30 people, so Stallone goes in to stop him. An action scene ensues. A whole building explodes because this is a Joel Silver production. And the 30 people are seen dead, even though they had already been dead before then. And because of that, Stallone is blamed for unwillingly killing the 30 hostages. They both get frozen in a cryogenic prison because, we have that technology in 1996, which was only 3 years later than when this movie was actually made. So they were being very optimistic. Cut to 38 years later.
2032, I think?
Yeah.
So math?
Where Wesley Snipes is up for parole, which I think Daniel pointed out. How come the terrorist is up for parole before the cop? Wesley Snipes breaks free, and because Stallone was the guy who put him in jail in the first place, he is unfrozen to catch him. And man, the depiction of the future in this movie is fucking weird.
And then since he's unfrozen, he gets a law degree, but throughout the entire time, it's like, your ways are strange to me.
I was gonna make the same stupid joke. Meanwhile, unfrozen caveman lawyer. By the way, better than Denis Leary would have been Phil Hartman in 1990.
Well, no, I mean, Denis,
he was still alive at that point.
I know!
Well, Denis Leary was the non-union Mexican equivalent of Bill Hicks, so that's who they should have gone with.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna eat rat burgers and throw the styrofoam containers right out the side!
Well, was Denis Leary's casting might have been a tribute to Bill Hicks because they talk about the big one, the big earthquake.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
To be fair, at this point, though, Denis Leary, everything he talks about could have been about the big one and Bill Hicks.
Yeah, so this movie is basically Brave New World with more explosions.
And what's her name is Huxley.
Yeah.
Lenina Huxley. Yeah. Lenina was the female lead in Brave New World. And then Huxley, I don't know what that's a reference to, but...
The author.
No.
Wait.
Oh.
People write shit?
Apparently.
Come on, this is the 21st century. No one reads or writes anymore, so...
They text. And the kids put their whole emails in the subject line.
This movie is such right-wing masturbatory nonsense. I love it. It's like Charlie Kirk, like this is a Charlie Kirkwell's Waldo of nonsense. This is amazing.
The philosophy is sound. There's a quote from C.S. Lewis that it might be better to be ruled by a robber baron than an omnipotent moral busybody, because someone who thinks what they're doing is right will just keep doing whatever because their conscience will justify it.
Well, yeah, that could also explain communism, though.
That's what I was getting at.
Well, and again,
whereas someone who's just a thug might be like, I not want to kill anyone today. I'm going back to bed.
The problem is, there is no crime, but what if a criminal shows up and we don't know what to do because there's no crime? Like, the whole thing is the system works. They had to resurrect a bad guy because a white guy didn't know how to murder someone, so they resurrected one black guy from the past.
Well, there was this whole underground society of people who were resisting them, and that's why they wanted to bring him back.
And you know what the underground resistance does? Almost does graffiti.
And they have Bud
one
Light.
scene, and then it gets immediately cleaned off.
You saying this is a rat burger? It's better than McDonald's.
Well, depending how it's seasoned, it may well be. You got to get out that Montreal steak seasoning, you know?
Oh, God help me. This movie is phenomenal.
So it's just not very subtle.
It's simultaneously one of the greatest action movies ever, and because of what you said about the right-wing propaganda, one of the worst action movies ever.
So which one's better?
Well,
this one or Welcome to Mars, bitch?
See, you can do right-wing propaganda well. I mean, Starship Troopers, come on.
That was a parody. That was a parody of right-wing.
Some people don't think so, though.
Well,
Starship Troopers is what happens when someone who hates the book decides to take a shit on it.
And it's a better movie because of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh.
And by the way, because of democracy, you're wrong because the three of us agree with my statement. But I mean, regardless, you could say the same thing about McHale's Navy or Down Periscope.
Are those Stay Tuned? Because they came out at the right time.
Please no.
I mean,
I remember.
To watch Kelsey Grammer do something other than fall off of the lectern.
I remember McHale's Navy. That was the Tom Arnold movie where he's finding Tim Curry.
He is, or Down Periscope, which is the first Kelsey Grammer held comedy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, along with what's his name from Rocket Man.
Harlan Williams.
Harlan Williams.
Yeah, making whale noises or.
All right, so we can skip over like the first scene. It's basically a typical.
First scene is one of the best scenes.
Yeah, no. We should describe it in loving detail.
The LAPD has a Chinook transport helicopter and Hummers.
Well,
Like they do now.
Yeah.
That's actually oddly prescient.
do you remember the
Chinook
Warriors?
helicopter?
And tanks and armored personnel carriers.
I know they might have had that because cops love to buy those for some reason, but Chinook helicopter?
Yes, because military surplus is sold directly to major city police. Like that, ironically, that's what they predicted in this. But Simon Phoenix, who is played by a beblonded, horrible Wesley Snipes.
Oh, he's the
Horrible?
best.
He's got good.
No.
His kung fu is good.
He is phenomenal. The costuming on him
Yeah.
is a train wreck and a half.
Yeah, the overalls are actually worse than the tire armor.
Yes, he literally wears tires at one point, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get there. Yeah. But effectively, he's taken over this I don't know. It's like a building filled with cubicles. It's a nonsense office building.
Well, essentially, the first act is the Warriors in L.A., where everything's on fire, all the gangs are fighting each other.
And literally, the Hollywood sign is on fire.
Yes.
It's 1996. Clinton just is about to be reelected. And therefore, the world is on... Janet Reno is just turning the other cheek.
Bob Dole would not have let the Hollywood sign be put on fire.
Yeah, you guys thought
Bridge is there.
Yeah, you guys thought Predator 2's opening was unsubtle.
Yeah. I mean, this is just pure Republican propaganda.
Well,
here.
Jeremy described...
Republican propaganda made by Hollywood.
Made by Stallone, very specifically.
Yeah.
A Republican fundraiser.
Well, Jeremy described what happens in that first act pretty well, where they're fighting, and then there's that whole thing where Wesley Snipes has kidnapped a bunch of people. The one thing that I remember, or that he didn't point out about
if we
this...
slow down this bus is like less than 50, like shit's gonna go down.
Well, I was thinking of him slicing open the gas barrel and then pretending to hold the...
Welding torch?
Yes, the welding torch, and then it was his cigarette, and then I'm going, okay, everyone's dead right now because it's the fumes that catch on fire.
That's right. He's like, smoking kills, and he's like, I know! And then shit goes down. And then, by the way...
Let's go ahead and also say, Wesley Snipes is hamming it up so much in this movie, he would be banned from Jewish delis everywhere.
And he's amazing.
He wins the movie.
Yeah.
He didn't need to eat vegetables this month because he was digesting so much scenery. But I will also say, Chris Nolan watched this in The Dark Knight is the same fucking movie. And this is better because people know how to ham it up. You know who can't? Christian Bale. Christian Bale has never once had ham.
I disagree, but...
I disagree, because I'm Batman.
Oh, no, man. Michael Keaton every day of the ding-dong week. Regardless, at this point, this is the same as The Dark Knight. He's like, there's some people on a bus. And
then there's the whole, you and me are the same, and...
I know, it's like a Joker speech. This is Stallone's Batman, which is a very autistic Batman. I don't know how to... Yeah, you are the same.
Basically.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's Robin is he's slow, but he's flexible.
The 1996 scenes... The 1996 scenes in this movie aren't important. Nobody cares. I mean,
I'm sorry Clinton got reelected. Like,
Well,
it
it's
bothers some
basically
people.
Sly Stone as a Republican watching the Rodney King riots and going,
Black people deserve to be punched.
yeah, apparently. But the most interesting stuff happens when we get to the future of 2032.
Yeah, so eventually what happens is Power Rangers, and then like in a pile of liquid goo, just like Austin Powers, he gets covered in like KY jelly. It ends up being slightly colder.
Oh man, there were
And
so many
ball sack shots.
Yes, exactly, Matt. I was about to say that. There were so many scenes where we almost got to see Sly's
Almost.
ball sack.
Are you sure it was almost?
Mutant shrunken scrotum. Mutant shrunken scrotum.
If we actually got a clear shot, I blacked it out.
I was awake the whole time because, I'm the smartest person who exists in 2036.
So Sly Stallone gets frozen and put in a Planet Hollywood basement for a good 35 years.
Almost 40, right? Because it's 2038.
Yeah,
2032.
So it's like 36 years, more or less.
Yeah, like almost 40.
Thank you for mathing there for me, Matt.
Math Quinn.
Yes. Yeah, and so then, for reasons we find out later, Wesley Snipes is brought up for parole, and he escapes and kills a whole bunch of people. And the future cops really have not had to investigate a murder in 20 years.
Sorry, a murder, death, kill.
Yes.
MDK.
Are singularly unable to deal with him.
And here's the thing about this movie. It's really weird that the movie is upset that they haven't had to deal with crime in 40 years.
Well, Sandra Bullock's character, Lenina
Who's
Huxley,
obsessed with crime from the 90s to the point where she has a Lethal Weapon poster on her wall.
oh, she's got a Red Hot Chili Peppers album on her wall. She's got a bunch of 90s shit
And
in her
the
office.
funny part about this to me is they couldn't afford any of the rest of the jokes. Whenever she was in her office, we should hear like, give it away, like, fight like a brave would be funny, losing my religion from our, like, anything from the 90s. Like, if she had a Simpsons poster, like, the joke needs to exist past wallpaper. It's like an IKEA blowjob joke. Like, you need to finish it. Like, it's very fun. I don't know.
All the parts were there, they just didn't know how to put it together.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we have to be delivered to Ben Bratt and all these people.
Oh, and we're forgetting another co-star of this movie who was apparently good buddies with Stallone back in the day. Rob Schneider is a co-star in Demolition Man.
Was that Garcia, the third cop?
You didn't
Rob Schneider
recognize-
doesn't get a name. He's just Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider exists for 45 seconds. And it's funny, he's like the ghost of Christmas yet to come. He haunts this movie, but has 0 lines.
And
Like-
he disappears after the murder, death, kill.
He must have been a nightmare to deal with. I don't know why he's there, but you'd think if he mattered, he would have. There's a director's cut somewhere that's half an hour longer where he also gets joke-em-ups because it's nonsense.
Rated PG-13.
Oh God, help us all. We needed someone with 3 tits in this movie.
They have a museum that has functional weapons.
Oh yeah. Let's
The
skip.
Daughters of Confederacy found a museum where the cannons are loaded.
Let's
This
skip
is
ahead a
utter
little bit.
fucking nonsense.
Basically, the overview of 2032 San Angeles, because apparently all of California is like one giant metro area now.
The liberals win, I guess.
Well, not
Well,
really,
that-
because they've outlawed sex.
I don't think they outlawed
well
it. It's
done,
just
Matt. No. Matt scored a point here. Let's not take it away from him. That's good.
I think that's kind of the joke there. Essentially, California has turned into what bro Nazis think the liberals want for the future.
This is QAnon's America.
Yeah, basically. Or their nightmare of what America could be. Where, what is it?
Did you know that sometimes women have sex with their own dads?
No,
It's not at that point, but...
the QAnon's nightmare America would involve pizza shops and with kids being locked in basements. This is
Taco Gate.
This is like early 90s. We know what's best for you, and we will manage your life to the nth degree.
You can't pretend to be prepared for the double-decker taco.
By the way, all restaurants are Taco Bell, so pizza doesn't exist in California. But anyway...
After the fast food wars, fire sauce is king.
Yes, the franchise wars.
Baja Blast for you.
I would have kind of expected Arby's to, like, hold on to their own for a little bit.
Arby's would be the underground rebels food because it's all
Can
meat.
you just imagine a rended garment like at the end of Tevye on Fiddler on the Roof, and it's just the Colonel just like, I have 11 herbs and spices! Wendy's there at his thigh, like reaching up to the distance.
Anyway, this future is basically...
No, my world is better, Daniel!
I know your world is better, but I mean, that's
Daniel
not the
William
movie.
Sudsy the fourth.
Yes, indeed. That I am indeed the fourth of the Daniel William Sudsies. All right, give me a minute
I'm
here.
just a regular Joe.
Yeah, so...
Well, basically what's happening in this future is everything that's bad for you has been deemed illegal. So you
Yet
can't...
not Taco Bell.
Not Taco Bell, but you can't swear without getting a fined like 1 credit. Spicy food is illegal. Salt is illegal. Pretty much everything.
Well, I mean, we haven't even gotten to the 3 seashells, but like...
We'll get to that a little later. But yes, there's no toilet paper in the future. Pretty much every, like, what Fox News claims AOC is going to do with the Green New Deal, that's what 2032 and Demolition Man is.
Yeah, but it's like even somehow more cartoony. How do I put this? The cartoon is that it's worse because it worked, right? The thing is, people are pansies and like that's the game. But the thing is, there's also no crime. And therefore, they're shocked when a criminal shows up, but it's worked. Like, and so the whole thing is that there really hasn't been real crime in like 30 years, and therefore, I mean, spoiler, is it the mayor?
He's like L. Ron Hubbard.
Right. And so George Lucas has to thaw out someone to make crime.
You know,
but like,
the big
there really isn't crime.
Spoiler, they thawed him out because they wanted him to kill off all the people in the underground who
you know
were
what? One of the
rebelling
biggest
against the system.
flaws of this movie's premise is...
The metric system doesn't exist.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Nick. It's
I'm so good at movies.
It's the fact that this is 2032, so there are people in the cast who remember the 90s.
There should have been an election cycle.
No, what
But voting is bad for you. You might vote for the wrong candidate, so therefore we won't have elections.
This should have been like 100 years after 1996, so nobody from the past remembers everything. If people remember stuff from the past, they're going to fight against the changes. We've seen that.
Okay, so let me go through the mindset. As the producer here, as Sly Stallone, based on the shit I'm injecting directly into my testicles, I don't think I'll survive until 2005. So, what if the future was like 2030? Like, that'd be crazy. I'd never make it. It's not like that fuckhead like Schwarzenegger would be governor or anything.
No, he's a president this time.
What? Like,
because he was so popular, they amended the Constitution 30 more times.
What? Like, it's not like, what if Jesse Ventura was also governor or something? Like, he'd be in this movie, but like, that'd be crazy.
Hey there, Nicholas.
It kinda
are
was
you
crazy.
talking about me and my governorship? I can't. do
Wait,
this.
what? You're gonna be governor too?
Well, it was crazy because then he ended up on a conspiracy theory show.
What? It's crazy.
How the
like,
how the
like as an Academy Award winner, like
how the mighty have fallen.
I couldn't possibly imagine me being elected to anything, except for like sexiest man in America in like 2015. Like I did that too, right? Hello? Like hello?
All right, so after the parole scene, and Wesley Snipes' character has been programmed with a bunch of stuff about the future. Like, he knows the code word to get
pornography.
handcuffs, and yes, he goes to like this sort of phone booth thing that's connected to what they imagine the internet would be.
It looks like something out of the Jurassic Park computer, or the little you float between little building-looking icons.
After that, he does a murder, death, kill multiple times, and then there's that whole scene where he's like trying to hunt down information about Edgar Friendly, who is Denis Leary's character.
The doctor is like a personal friend of mine, and he also lives in like a phone booth.
He also lives on your shirt.
Nicely done there, Matt. And
I live to serve.
After the scene where the cops confront Wesley Snipes, it's like, we're police officers. We don't know how to handle this level of violence, which is, I think, a Rob Schneider line in this movie. They thaw out John. I keep wanting to call him John Savage to keep with the Brave New World thing, but it's John Spartan.
I keep wanting to just call him John Saxton because I've been rewatching the Halloween movies.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, so at the last act of this movie is Stallone against Wesley Snipes, but in the future.
Well, also, this movie borrows a lot from Jackie Chan movies and John Woo movies that existed in the early 90s.
They even explicitly say that. Like,
yes.
Lenina Huxley's Sandra Bullock is like, this is like a Jackie Chan movie.
Jeremy, why you've seen those movies, right? All the John Woo.
Yeah, I have seen movie.
Well, like
what?
The John Woo Hong Kong movies. I mean, the slow-mo and the breaking glass and stuff.
Yeah, and the Dutch angles and all that.
And the guy taking a shit on his table so Stallone can jerk off.
Oh, boy. What you think?
That'd be more Takashi Miike then.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But that's just something.
Anyway, what'd you think of that stuff, Jeremy?
It's fine. It didn't go overboard. Yeah, that's the weird thing I thought about this. The action scenes are fairly short in this. I mean, the opening scene, short, end scene.
As opposed to King Arthur, which we did last.
Yeah, I will give this movie tons of credit. It flies. I mean,
this movie is tight.
Yeah. There's no... Well, I mean, pacing-wise, I did find it kind of weird where, like, the scene where Phoenix faces down old dude in the park and, like, doesn't shoot him and runs away. And then, Spartan shows up. He's like, "Yay, glad he didn't kill you." And like, "Okay, let's go to dinner." It's like, no, keep chasing him. This movie finds ways to not focus.
I think they're both programmed to not be able to harm L. Ron Hubbard.
I will say, psychologically, this movie needs to be 20% more Matrix or something. Like, there needs to be more reason. Like, they don't explain things. The ones that we get is where Wesley Snipes is trying to pull a gun and he can't. But they need to emphasize. They need to focus it. They need to have him fight.
That scene where he's trying to shoot him and he can't pull the trigger did go on for at least a minute.
It needs to happen again, though. Like, he needs to want to kill him.
Yeah, it needed to be like RoboCop, where he points the gun at Dick Jones and begins to, like, melt down.
RoboCop was supposed to be Jesus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Jesus who shoots people in the dick.
So Jesus,
like the true Moses was off there, shooting people in the shoulder, but Jesus aimed for the dick.
Yeah. Why don't people have that on a bumper sticker? Jesus aims for the dick.
Well, I'm sure you could do one on Vistaprint or Etsy.
I think we just officially pitched our first piece of merchandise.
We have swag now. Jesus aims for the dick. On the third dick.
Something rose.
Oh, not the dick, I'll tell you that.
Moses may part your
And on the
hair,
third
but-
day, someone's getting nailed.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
There you go.
Our second piece of merchandise right there.
We're all going to hell.
My
Yes.
second pitch is Moses may part the hair, but Jesus aims for the dick.
You know, I don't think you're supposed to circumcise lengthwise.
I think that's a T-shirt more than a bumper sticker, but so much about this movie is like indebted to two things. First, like I think we've referenced, it's Brave New World. It's all about how a society that's like programmed to be ultra nice and just pretend like conflict doesn't exist just is utterly stupid. Oh, we haven't even gotten to the part where they're listening to like commercial jingles from the 80s and 90s in,
On the
in the car.
classics
Yes.
radio station.
Yes. I am legitimately surprised Lenina never once asked anybody where the beef was.
Hey, Grandpa, what is your classic commercial that's on that radio station?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Matt, Jeremy,
Oh,
you're
well,
on this question too.
Obviously, it isn't a jingle. I just remember the Taco Bell Chihuahua being everywhere back in the day.
Viva Gorditas.
Matt, what's your commercial?
The only commercial jingle I can remember from that period is "What you want is what you get at McDonald's today."
Okay, Jeremy.
Have you had your break today? That was it.
For some reason, the first thing that came to mind is the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Ooh, classic. I'll tell you mine. Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real man of genius!
Today we present you, Mr. Giant Taco Salad Creator.
Mr. Giant Taco Salad Creator!
Beef, cheese, and don't worry, we deep fried that crusty bowl. Nothing can say healthy like a 12,000 calorie salad. Oh, Christ on the cracker. Like, I know an econ teacher at the end of my department, and we're just talking commercials, and that's the one I always fucking pitch because God help us all.
Didn't you have a play with like Real Dudes of Brilliance?
A million years ago. And you know what? You're a beautiful human being for remember I wrote something like that.
I want to hear about Real Dudes of Brilliance.
I'll send you a terrible script.
Send it to me too. I want to read it.
I wrote a movie script, I was going to say 11 years ago. No, 17 years ago. I used to be a playwright. No one cared.
And there was a whole musical number that parodied the Music Man.
Well, anyway, that's the sort of movie we're dealing with. There's a bunch of weird references because society's gone down the toilet and nobody has any attention spans anymore. So, in other words, it was a very prescient movie.
I don't even know how the movie... Where we go from here.
Well, they get all the guns from the museum, which they pretty much destroy because somehow the guns in the museum can still function. It'd be hilarious
And they're loaded.
It'd be hilarious if you tried to fire them. The firing pin's gone. They start beating them each with like clubs.
That was a weird scene, too, because he's like, Wesley Snipes goes into the museum and there's like it's like a certain wing of like the history of San Angeles, and then it's like, this is the violence wing or whatever, and then everything's apparently covered behind bulletproof plastic because, you know, Wesley Snipes is sitting on it, and it's like, oh, that's clearly a plastic, and then he throws a security guard into it and it shatters like glass. And I'm like, okay, so the future, they don't know the difference between the two.
Well, and it's also like Fifth Element nonsense or whatever, where these other people are wearing like Jedi robes somehow.
It's like the Bill and Ted Utopia from Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure.
And like Wesley Snipes with his like weird bleached blonde skullet and overalls, and no one looks at him even though they're dressed like they're the Jedi Council. This is some Bonza nonsense.
Did we mention, speaking of robes, that Otho from Beetlejuice is in this movie?
He's wearing stripedy pants.
No, I think Wesley Snipes is wearing the stripedy pants when he gets abducted. Well, not abducted, but arrested at the start. Otho's wearing this glorious kimono throughout the entire thing.
Is he the fat guy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, The whole rest of this movie is just cartoon nonsense.
Well, they end up going into the sewers and finding a secret society of people who are living free, eating rat burgers and wearing tires.
Yes. Oh, God, they trade a Rolex at one point in this movie for a rat burger.
And a beer.
Yeah, and so Wesley Snipes, meanwhile, has tricked L. Ron Hubbard into unfreezing a bunch of his criminal buddies so they try and kill Edgar Friendly. You know, Denis Leary, the rebel prophet Jesus in the sewer.
Well, after the museum shootout, there's a bunch of things that happen. I think before even the confrontation between Wesley Snipes and L. Ron Hubbard, like you said, Matt, there's a quote-unquote sex scene between Sandra Bullock and Sly, and it's just one of the funniest parts of this movie.
Because they've outlawed sex, so instead they have virtual reality.
I didn't think they outlawed it. I thought it was just considered unnecessarily dirty and dangerous.
Regardless, we get the story at the beginning that Sly had a daughter that we never see, or a wife we never see. So.
Well, the wife died in the great earthquake of, what was it, 2010?
He's having sex with his daughter.
And the daughter, he didn't want to find her again for some reason. Like,
I can find my daughter, but what if she was hot?
Lenina offered to use her police position to look her up, and he's like, no.
I'm just thinking right now, this could have been an old boy twist.
This movie wouldn't be
Smart
that
enough?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be smart enough to do
Yeah. No.
that? All right.
But what if I could also jump on these mushrooms?
And so...
Oh no, a turtle!
Yeah, and so then Wesley Snipes kills L. Ron Hubbard with his crew, and they're going to try and unfrost all the prisoners, including Jeffrey Dahmer, who he seems to worship.
By the way, he doesn't just kill L. Ron Hubbard. He, shoots him and then throws him in that giant Citizen Kane fireplace that's in his office, and his body just goes up like it's covered in kerosene.
I bet he wishes he had a cauldron filled with penises like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ooh. Stallone should have walked in and was like, hey, they're making rat burgers here too?
Yeah.
But if only they were shitting this glass table.
I could really smell the barbecue, Adrian.
So then Lenina and him fight some of Wesley Snipes' militia, and Lenina kills one of them and ends up really upset by it.
Well, yeah, because she's a police officer, which means obviously she's never had to be in a position where she's killed anyone. Certainly not to defend herself.
Minority.
No, yeah, there you go.
So he has to actually knock her unconscious. Well, not knock, but zap her with his unconscious taser.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one of the futuristic devices they have because nobody has guns. It's like one of those shock sticks. What did they call it in the movie?
I love the fact that they deride non-lethal weapons.
Well, it kind of...
Well, this is from the producer of Lethal Weapon.
It kind of reminded me of Minority Report, where, what is it, Six Sticks, where they, shock people and then they end up just vomiting heavily, which incapacitates them.
Yeah, but the problem with things that aren't lethal is, but what if they kept killing anyway? But what if guns were like things?
Well, anyway, the L. Ron Hubbard guy was the person who programmed Wesley Snipes to come back and try and kill Denis Leary. Who, have we talked about that? There's a couple scenes with him, and it's just classic Denis Leary rants.
Give it to us, buddy.
Oh, I can't say it word for word, but it's like, you know what? I don't want control. I want to eat high cholesterol. I want to smoke cigarettes, and I want to drink until I pass out. Because that's what this is supposed to be about. Life's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up.
I'm just a regular Joe with a regular job. I'm your average white suburbanite slum.
Oh, and speaking of 2020 quarantine, he's got a long mullet and then beard, which I don't think I've ever seen on Denis Leary before.
I think he said people were living like 47-year-old virgins, never leaving their rooms.
Yes,
Also known as some parts of modern Japan.
Also
Yeah,
known
man,
as
I
some
wouldn't know
parts
anyone
of
that-
the United States in 2020.
So, how does this movie end, Sudsy?
There's as with any Sly movie, there's a big shootout at the end where Sly and Wesley Snipes end up back in the cryo station where all the prisoners are, and it's not a shootout. They do like karate moves in there, and basically Wesley Snipes like gets laser weapons and stuff and tries to kill Stallone, but it doesn't work. So he like kicks a liquid nitrogen tube open and ends up freezing Snipes and like kicking his head off.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, we're here. What's the final verdict?
Well, he ends up telling everyone, the surviving future cops and the sewer rebel people, they need to find a happy balance between freedom and safety while he goes off to seduce Lenina to have sex the real way.
Oh yeah, because they end up kissing at the end, and there's one important thing we're forgetting about Lenina, where she at one point kills another bad guy, but then Stallone has to tell her, "It's cans. It's just cans."
We'll play it, Sudsy. What's your final verdict on this?
Oh, am I going first? Okay. This is simultaneously a really fun action movie. It's very creative, and I think, frankly, it's the best adaptation, tonally anyway, of Brave New World that there's ever been on film. But at the same time, I'm not immune from Nick's criticism that this is just right-wing porn to a certain degree. So I'm still kind of trying to balance those two aspects of it. But I will say, watching it was a lot of fun.
Matt?
It really wasn't that entertaining for an action movie. And the points they're trying to make about freedom and security and safety are not very subtle.
Jeremy?
Yeah, basically echoing what everyone else said. It's fun, but man, it has no sense of conveying its message with any subtlety. And I think that's its biggest fault. I mean, some of the future gags are great. The cussing, hearing the off in the distance whenever someone cusses is brilliant.
And they keep doing that whenever anyone cusses, with the exception of one scene. But that was great. How that always happens.
At one point, he didn't know how to use the 3 seashells, so he just curses enough to generate enough tickets to wipe with.
Yeah, there are some nice gags, but man, they did not know how to execute a lot of them, and it just comes off as goofy. I do recommend watching it because it has enough fun stuff, but overall, it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I will agree with Daniel and Jeremy here, only because it feels like it's not even a hangover movie. It's like what's going on like a Saturday on TNT kind of movie. Like, it has those bits, and like the profanity almost feels, how do I put it? It's like exploitive. Like, it doesn't need the pornography.
Gratuitous.
Now, I will say at the end of the day, if you're going to watch this in the pure, beautiful HD format that we did, do it. This movie is fun nonsense. It's right-wing propaganda. You know what you're getting. You almost need to eat like a McRib and have a beer. Like, it doesn't feel like it matters. And yet Stallone is there like with his chest puffed up and his nipples out. Like, you know what? I'm gonna punch someone who's almost a minority.
There are plenty of Stallone movies that don't matter. At least this one's funny.
I mean, because you know what the best part about it is? Rob Schneider isn't the one trying to be funny.
Well, yeah, I will admit there were a bunch of laugh out loud moments. Some of them were the ones I was the only one laughing out loud.
Yeah. At the end of the world, man, you need to watch this because, I don't even know, like, Stallone saves the day against Pee Wee Herman.
That would have been a hell of a movie.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We did Demolition Man. We can't do worse.
But we did worse.
So,
we did Spawn.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Thanks, guys.
Myopia Movies is a podcast production of Dude Letter Podcasting and is produced by Nick Hoffman. It is edited by Nerd Trinette and Daniel Sudis, and is hosted by Nick Hoffman, with production assistance by Matthew Quinn, Daniel Sudis, and Nurtranet. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod from Incomptech.com. Licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 4 license, Creative Commons /licenses by /4.0. Thanks.